Well, I'd met Frank Hardy in Sydney, where I'd been living before I came down. So originally came from Melbourne, but I was living in Sydney then. And I'd done an interview with him for a newspaper magazine, and he was a fascinating character. So that's what set me off wanting to make the film. And of course I was interested in him anyway, because that's why we decided to interview him in the first place. He'd written short stories and published short stories and so on under the name of Ross Franklin, which was an amalgam of his wife's name, Rosalind, and his name, Frank. And then he'd written a couple of other books where Ross Franklin was a central character, and it allowed him as a fiction writer to do all sorts of interesting things with his own biography and use it as the basis for his book, but wasn't actually straight up autobiography. It had a whole lot of fictional elements in it, and Ross Franklin was the way he did that. So I struck on this idea of making a film about Ross Franklin and then letting Frank Hardy commentate on Ross Franklin. Yeah, so the whole thing was shot on film and cut on film, and that too had I think it has an attraction to it that isn't there anymore. There are different things about filmmaking today. Some of that concentration, that sheer sense of focus and discipline isn't there so much anymore, because people can cut it and then they can just reverse it and do it again. I think it is well worth having a strong sense of where you want to go, and the only way to get that is to experiment with different possibilities, and that's where the film school is extremely useful. And the film school background that I had equipped me very well to then move into the industry. So I was aware of the parameters that you have to work under, and had pushed them to the limit in the film school environment, so that when I got out into the industry, I knew where I could go and where I couldn't go.